Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Game of Trades, and this is going to be a technical analysis of natural gas futures. So the last video that I made was around right here, right after the big drop we had on natural gas, which actually followed a nice rally. This was a nice rally that we were actually able to trade and predict on this channel, and we hit our first target, but unfortunately we did reverse and have this big correction, and that was pretty much the summary of the last video I made. And before I continue, I just want to re-clarify my position on this counter rally, and I think that this is a counter correction in what looks like the beginning of a uptrend. And I have a few reasons for that I'm going to cover in this video, but what I'm calling it is a symptom of a prolonged downtrend. So we have been in a downtrend since the end of 2018. We've been going down nonstop, making lower highs, as you can see, and lower lows systematically. There's not one higher high or one higher low on this graph since end of 2018 until now, and that is one of the reasons that I'm going to cover later. But right now we are in what looks like a consolidation zone. Natural gas doesn't really know where it's going to go next. We are sandwiched between two resistance and support levels right now. We're bouncing up and down within this zone, and this is typical price action before another big thrust in a certain direction. So this can be a sign for us traders on natural gas that something bigger is going to happen when the market doesn't know, when it's starting to coil up some price action pressure. It usually shoots up in one direction or another, just like it did right here and just like it did right here. Natural gas has the tendency to go up and down very quickly. And so I do have 5 reasons that I think that the direction it will go in is towards the upside. I have 5 reasons, and I'm going to start with the first one, and that is simply that the prices are at historic low levels. And what I mean historic, I mean recent history. For the past 3 years, I think, we have remained above this $2.5 level, and recently we did break under, and we are just under it. So this means that from just a value perspective, natural gas is cheap. It is cheap. It's cheap compared to what it has been for 3 years, and that is just very, very simple business economics. You buy when it's cheap and you sell when it's expensive. So that's the first reason I think that this doesn't really mean that we have to go up now. It just means that I think the tendency for natural gas will be to the upside ever since this huge rally. I think this has been the signal that natural gas is going to start trending up. So reason number 2 is that this actually seems to be the end of a prolonged downtrend. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to repeat myself, we've seen lower lows and lower highs all through 2019 until now. And now we do have the first higher high. This is a high, this is a high, this is a higher high, and this is a low, this is a low, this is a higher low. So we have the first higher high and the first higher low. So if we reverse off of here, this puts natural gas in an official uptrend if we start reversing off of this consolidation level and trending up. Now, third reason it's going to go up is the MACD divergence that I've been talking about for weeks on the daily chart and on the weekly chart, where the momentum on the price is to the downside, but the MACD tells us a different story. And same thing with the RSI. You can see the MACD and the RSI made higher lows whilst the price made lower lows all through 2019, and that was a huge signal for us that the trend was, about to change, and this again was the confirmation that the trend had changed. So the trend has changed. The MACD is playing out. The MACD divergence is playing out. The RSI divergence is playing out, and we have on the weekly chart the same thing. We have huge lower lows on the weekly chart, but the MACD was, starting to curl up, and that can have some big long-term implications for natural gas, telling us that this move is over and that it is now safe, potentially safe, to invest to the long side. And that is definitely what I've been doing for natural gas. So that's the third reason. And now let's get into the fourth reason. And for that, we need to get back on the daily chart. And you can see that the MACD is starting to cross over. You can see this is a very simple indicator. When commodities swing trade up and down in cyclical patterns, the MACD, momentum indicators like the MACD work extremely well, and you can see that the crossover between the blue and the red line indicates a reversal point. If you take the crossover, you take it where the price is, and you have the more or less the beginning of the trend change. And so if you sell right at the crossover, you can capture almost the entirety of the move down. And so what I'm saying is we're currently crossing back up. The blue line is crossing above the red one, and so this could potentially be another sign that we are looking for a move up in the next few weeks. And now the last reason, but definitely not the least important, is that we are starting to get into the winter months. Winter is coming, and that is very good news for the natural gas bulls. When winter is, natural gas does tend to do better during the winter months than the summer months for obvious reasons. And so this is the perfect time for you seasonal investors to invest into natural gas, just because the timing is quite perfect here in October. I remember the last huge natural gas spike that we had was around this time. You can see this was around October, and end of October we had a huge spike, and this was actually a 50% move up in a month between October and November. And guess what? We are between October and November. So those are some pretty nice reasons. These are pretty big factors for the bullish case on natural gas. Now, obviously, anything can happen in the markets, and I'm definitely not always right. So we can definitely go on to break this level down and perhaps extend the divergence we have on the MACD, and that would, probably delay the bullish case for a couple months, but this definitely is something to watch. And if we have a break of the 2.38 level to the upside, I do expect much more impulsive action, and definitely a break of the 2.5 level, and potentially a hit of the 2.7 target and the 2.9 target that I've had for a while. So that would be some pretty nice profits. And in the next video, if I see some more compelling evidence, if I do see that we're starting to break this resistance, I'll definitely put a official trade idea on the channel to signal that I am invested for these targets, and potentially higher. Only time will tell. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below to tell me what you think. I always read the comments. I don't always reply, but I always read them. In the meantime, good luck and see you next time.